What's good, YouTube? WWE here, back again once again. Today, we're doing a new video of sorts here on the second channel. I know we haven't had a whole lot of wrestling content over here, but those of you guys that follow me on Twitter and over on Twitch have seen that I am an avid wrestling fan. And I've seen a few other people on YouTube do reviews of the pay-per-views and whatnot. I've seen some people do reviews of like every single show that goes on throughout the week. I ain't got the time to commit to that, but I figured I'd try my hand at, reviewing the different pay-per-views that come up, especially since they're on average once a month. Well, I mean, I guess Elimination Chamber's coming up and Payback was 2 weeks away, so whatever, you guys understand what I'm saying. So whenever there's a pay-per-view in WWE, for those of you guys that are into wrestling and whatnot, we'll go ahead and do a quick review of it over here on the second channel. But today I'm joined by Twit.
Yo, what's good though? You already know who it is though. It's that nigga with a fro. What's poppin', everybody? You're gonna test some knowledge here, if I do say so myself.
Another one of the reasons that I wanted to dive into start doing these reviews is because, I mean, we sit in Skype calls and we talk about this stuff all the time, so why not just record it and get everyone's feedback, everyone's opinion on it as well. So let us know what you guys think about the most recent NXT Takeover Unstoppable pay-per-view that happened on the WWE Network. And we're going to go ahead and dive into this. We're just going to go down the order of the card and whatnot, of all the matches and everything that happened. Starting off first with the #1 contenders match, which was originally billed as a triple threat match between the best wrestler in the business right now.
True.
Finn Balor versus Tyler Breeze. Well, it was originally Hideo Itami, but I guess they, in my opinion, I'm not up on like the wrestling websites and all this stuff. PK is the one that normally feeds me this information, but I feel like they just they gave him that quote unquote injury before the event as a way to keep him from getting squashed beneath Finn Balor, because you can clearly tell when Finn Balor comes out, the entire building, like on the show tonight, I've never heard "holy shit" chants for an entrance.
Intro. Yeah.
For just an entrance before. Normally you have to light somebody on fire, throw some steel steps at him or something, do something crazy, but all Finn Balor did was come out. He came out down the entrance, and it was amazing.
He had, hands down, the absolute most sickest ass intro. I'm using my Negro lingo right now, but absolutely the most ridiculous ass intro I've ever seen in my life. Hands down, best intro. Period.
It's amazing, and he took it even a step further with the eye body paint on his back, and he had the wings and everything. When he stood up and he rose out of that smoke, when the lights came on and he was standing there with the wings.
He had those wings. Oh my god, yo! I'm telling you, I was standing up that whole time. That whole intro, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Let's go!" Like, I was tweeting about it, but my Twitter was going ham. My mentions were being lit up, man. It was crazy. I loved it. I'm just
saying. A lot of people feel NXT is I don't want to say one of, because there's only 3 shows or superstars. You would say 4. It's one, if not the best show on right now, because in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think the Raw flagship show has gotten really stale over the past couple years. It's the general scene. It's the same thing over and over again. And NXT is a breath of fresh air, and it just seems like it reminds me of like wrestling from a few years back. Yep. We're not gonna get into all that right now. We're here more specifically to talk about the show. But Finn Balor, in my opinion, he is my favorite wrestler wrestling currently.
Oh, hands down.
I don't know, because then again, I keep forgetting TNA is a thing, and Kurt Angle's over there, and I'm a Kurt Angle fanboy. I love Kurt Angle. I'll say he's my favorite wrestler wrestling currently in the WWE.
The only thing, now I'll agree with that, but I do have a couple of quarrels. I don't know what the word is, but there's a few things about Finn Balor that I don't like, and a couple things about Finn Balor, at least off the top of my head, the first thing about Finn Balor that I don't really like is I'm not really a huge fan of like his moveset. He's got like his finishers, and man, it was the coup de grace.
The coup de grace and the sling blade.
Yeah, the sling blade and the coup de grace, absolutely amazing. But everything else, he doesn't really have that shine. Like, I feel like, if you guys remember, like, and I don't want to go crazy and go old school and all this stuff, and go into that whole conversation. But if you just like think back about how like Because like one of my other favorite wrestlers, like when I was younger, was Rey Mysterio. Think about how when Rey Mysterio came out to the scene, like he just exploded out of nowhere, and he had all these crazy different moves. And it's like, I know that there's a lot you can't really like recreate or create now that hasn't been already done. But I feel like Finn Balor, just the character that he has, it needs some type of like. I mean, the coup de grace is amazing, the sling blade is great, but he just needs something more diverse, in my opinion.
Finn Balor, if they end up sending him to the main roster, people have debated about, they could put him in a rival with Sheamus, or have him team with Sheamus because they're both from Ireland, or they're both Irish, whatever, or yada yada yada, or whatever. And in my opinion, Finn Balor, if I had to compare to someone on the main roster right now, he is most like Randy Orton, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because look at Finn Balor's finish, the coup de grace. You know, look at him when he does the drop kicks in the ring. He has an incredible vertical leap, just like Randy Orton. That's why Randy Orton's finisher is the RKO, because he can jump as high as your fucking head and slam it on the ground. So I think that if you wanted to diversify his moveset, give him some more
aerials.
Aerial. That's the best word for it. Give him some more stuff like that, especially since his finisher is in the air and whatnot. But I mean, I can agree with you on that. When it comes to the match, like we said, just the entrance and everything about Finn Balor just completely shuts down everybody else. Tyler Breeze, not my favorite wrestler in the world. I think NXT and WWE kind of sort of buried him with the whole gimmick that he has right now. Because I think in ring he's decent. You know, he's very charismatic. You know, when he's sitting there screaming and yelling at the ref, you know, do your job, all this shit. Like, that's hilarious. That's funny. Like, that's good. He's entertaining. But it's just this whole model selfie stick bullshit. I'm just looking at it, just shaking my head like.
It's like I wouldn't dislike him so much if it like. There's just some things like, okay, he just reminds me of like a diva wrestler, and I personally can't stand watching diva matches. He just reminds me so much of a diva, and it's just like, I don't know, man. I feel like they're trying to modernize him way too much. The
best way I can though, the way I see him is I don't take him seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's not. It's like there's nothing about him this serious. Like, how could you possibly take that serious?
Like, could you see Tyler Breeze as NXT champion?
No, hell no.
This dude walking down the ramp with his selfie stick. Can you see
Tyler Breeze doing anything other than small events like in like NXT?
Or getting in squash matches and shit like that?
No, not at all.
I can't see him in anything else besides that. So, going into the triple threat with Hideo Itami still involved in it, obviously, you know, I was kind of... Me being a Finn Balor fanboy, I was kind of sort of like, I don't know, they might give it to Hideo Itami, because Hideo Itami is huge in NXT as well. Everyone loves him. I could honestly, if it came down, if he was still involved in the triple threat, I would want Finn Balor to win, but I wouldn't be surprised that they put Hideo Itami over him just to help push him even more. But I'm not gonna lie, I breathed a little sigh of relief when I saw before the show that he, quote unquote, got attacked.
Yeah, really.
And I was like, okay, he's out of the match, so it's a sure shot that Finn Balor is going to win. I'm really hyped. I'm really excited. I want them to give Finn Balor the title so badly. I want them to turn him into, like, the face of NXT, which he's already starting to become, because I want them, as much as it pains me to say this, it's like a double-edged sword. Like, NXT is so good. Everything about it is so good.
Yes,
but
it's legit. Like, it just seems so much more.
I want them to take Finn Balor, put him on the main roster, hype him up, and like a year, 2 years from now, once he's blown up, give him that title shot, make him World Heavyweight Champion. Finn Balor, like just imagine down the road, imagine Finn Balor at WrestleMania. Imagine the entrance.
Oh my god, his entrance would be just.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like Finn Balor would just go over so well. They could honestly blow him up and make him the next big thing. But
see, I was gonna say before, because I know what you're getting. I know what you're getting at here. I know what you're getting at. The one thing though about him going to the main roster, I feel like, and this is again, this is like I'm gonna hint at your double-edged sword thing here. The one thing I don't really think would be a great thing for him to go is I feel like they would force him to do that intro every single match.
No, I don't think so.
Every match he was in, I feel like they'd force him to do that intro, and then it would sort of die down and get old after a while. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. I think if anything, they would keep it to just pay-per-view events. I don't think he would come out, because I mean, he doesn't. I just bit my tongue. He doesn't come out like that and whenever he wrestles on regular NXT shows.
Yeah, but it's NXT though.
No, I understand.
I mean,
personally,
if you're going main roster, like I feel like they just be like, look, you need to do this whole get up every single time you go out because that's what people love you for.
No, I don't love Finn Balor just for his entrance. I think he's great in ring. I like the persona that he has, and his entrance music is crazy as well. I think that if anything, because I mean, like, compare him to other people that carry face paint, like Stardust and Goldust. Like, that's just painting your face. That's not your entire chest and your entire back being painted with such detail that his is.
I mean, I love the fact that it's not every match. I like the fact that it's like when he's like in the zone, like the Eye of Balor. When he's in the zone, he's ready. He's like, this is it. I gotta focus. And like, I love the whole idea behind it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. So obviously, when it came to that triple threat turned into a singles match, that was just going to end up being a squash match for Tyler Breeze. He was just there as a placeholder so they can help put Finn Balor over, which I'm happy about. Obviously, we've been talking about Finn Balor for 10 minutes now. So obviously, I'm happy that Finn Balor won that match and they put him over. Next match on the card was the women's tag match, which is, I guess it's kind of like a semi-ongoing rivalry, and they're trying to spark up another one as well. Because like Emma and Bailey have kind of sort of been going back and forth at it for a couple weeks now, and now since what's her name? Charlotte lost the title, which unless I missed it, I don't think Charlotte ever got a rematch for it. They just scooped it.
That was from last week where Sasha took the title from her, and then and then this week it was last week. I'm pretty sure.
No. It was the last event.
Oh, well, okay, that's what I meant. The last event, not the last week, but last event, Sasha took the title, and then boom, this event, then they're just doing tag team. So I don't know.
I don't know. It was a pretty good match on all the women's division in NXT is light years ahead of the Divas
my God
division.
Yes,
light years ahead of Divas division. I haven't seen women's wrestling like that since the days of Trish Stratus and Mickie James and Victoria. You know, way back when Lita was in the ring, and you know that was actual women's wrestling that I could sit and watch. Now, on the main roster, to me, it's just all this Barbie doll shit. You know, where it's like, and a lot of people are like upset because like Paige, everyone loves Paige on the main roster because Paige came up from NXT, and apparently when she was in NXT,
I actually like Paige too.
Yeah, when she was in NXT, she wrestled like an NXT women's wrestler.
Yep.
So that's another reason. That's why I called up that double-edged sword when we were speaking about Finn Balor, because look what happened to Paige. You know, she was great in NXT, then you bring her up to the main roster, and she just all of a sudden she's Barbie dollified, and it's just like, come on now.
And it's like I just want to point out, like I was really excited to get to this particular match, and because like I said earlier, I absolutely despise watching Divas match. They're like the most boring. First of all, they're only like 2.5 minutes long, and they usually end in some fake scrap or whatever, or like somebody else interferes, or it's some, you know, it's just dumb. Like the Divas matches are just like beating a dead horse type thing. Like just
it's a bathroom break.
It really, that's all it is. But when you go over to NXT, it's like you see the Divas, like it's not even Divas, it's just the women's wrestling. Like I saw it the first time and I was like, I'm not really a big fan. And then I saw my hands down favorite female wrestler I think of all time. My nigga Bailey came out, and I was like, what is this? At first, I was like, nah, like, I'm not with this. It's not cool. But, yo, Bailey, I gotta thank for Bailey, man. She puts in work. I'm not even gonna lie. The Bailey to belly. I've been saying that literally every single day since I first saw her wrestle a few weeks ago, and I'm just like, why is Bailey so good, man? Why is she so good?
I can agree with Twit. I would say my two favorite divas right now are both Bailey and Sasha Banks. At first I didn't like Sasha Banks.
Sasha's growing on me.
She had to grow on me a lot. She really had to grow on me a lot, because when I first saw her, you know, I fell under that classic, she's just the spoiled brat. She's just the heel, yada yada yada. She's not meant to be anything serious, but it's a little more than that. And of course, we'll speak on Sasha Banks a little bit more later when we go over her match. But when it comes to the tag match at Unstoppable, another one, Charlotte. I was about to say, Charlotte's another person. When I first saw her, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Ric Flair's daughter? Come on now!" But I will give it to her. We
talk mad shit about her. To be honest,
I talk shit about her every single time I see her. Yeah, but she's starting to grow on me as well, because her in-ring performance is amazing. I'll give it up to her. Charlotte is putting in work. She's really starting to grow on me a lot. So I was really looking forward to the team of Charlotte and Bailey together. And like Twit said, there's like, to me, PK hates on Bailey, but when I look at Bailey, I can't help but sit there and just like I'm I'm fucking like, finally, she's here. Let's go. Put it in work.
Yeah, and it's just like I made, you know, it's probably just her character in general, but it's just like she literally looks like she's having fun.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo, there's just something about her like character and everything. It's just like, oh my god, yo, why is Bailey so good?
You can say she's
like, it's just
huggable.
A hugger.
So yeah, when it comes to the match, I really enjoyed the different spots they had throughout the match. Charlotte and Bailey, of course, scooped up the W in there, and it's really one of those things where I'm just looking at it and I'm like, Dana and Emma, who are you?
I didn't even know who they were before. Like, they were the women's tag champions, correct? And I just
no. There's no women's tag team championship.
Or is there not an NXT?
No, you're getting them and Alexa Bliss mixed up later on in the card.
Okay.
It's one of those things where I look at them and I'm just like, I can clearly tell from watching. It's like the Tyler Breeze thing that you're not going to. Go away, please. Like,
it was just like they just needed a match to get a win.
Like, I would rather just see a singles match between Charlotte and Bailey.
I mean,
that's kind of mean.
I don't want to see that man. I don't want to see that man fight Bailey. Like, what?
Oh my, see, that's not right. That's not right. It's one of those things where, like, I understand they're trying to promote some sort of rivalry and keep some sort of action within NXT. Outside of just the titles, because that's another thing that I've noticed in NXT is that there really aren't a whole lot of hype matches that aren't surrounding titles. Whereas on the main roster, that I would say that's the one thing that the main roster has over NXT so far. When it comes to the main roster, you can have a hype ass match that doesn't include the title.
Yeah, but you have to take into consideration the fact that in NXT, it's so much. First of all, it's way shorter. So they have to, like, they don't really have time to just say, hey, just go have this match and just have fun and just wrestle. It's like, it has to be really centered on, like, they have to skip, for example, like, a lot of story. Like, they just have to get, I mean, you have to turn into, like, gamers. You have to skip a lot of the story mode. You just got to get to mission to mission to mission. And that's kind of what NXT is. Whereas, like, SmackDown and Raw, whatever, they're more like, okay, we can fill this time slot with, we can just do all this, like, we can build this story, create this whole facade of what's going on. But in NXT, it's just like, it's straight to the point, match, and we're done. And it's just like, it's like an hour of just hype. Like, it's crazy. I love it.
I don't know. I personally, I would rather just, like, Dana and Emma, like, they're obviously gonna keep holding the storyline, but I would honestly rather, even how old and cliche it is, this whole storyline where it's Charlotte and Emma are hugging and she's a hugger and yada yada yada. I wouldn't mind seeing
Bailey?
Yeah. I said Emma. Bailey. I wouldn't mind seeing something where they even turn Charlotte heel and they make a Charlotte versus Bailey type thing to come from this. So
could you imagine Bailey being heel?
No, Bailey can't be heel. You can't wear a shirt that says I'm a hugger and be heel.
Yo, that'll be the what do they call it? The floppy dudes or whatever, and she's just like angry, like that.
The only way they could do that is if they spin her the same Mickie James, AJ Lee role where she's like crazy. Yep. That's the only way that it can happen. Where
she could do that.
She could pull it off easy. She's a hugger.
Pull that off.
You know, she could pull it off easy, but I think she's over too much with the crowd for them to go ahead and turn them heel like that. I would rather see, like, Charlotte turn heel and then have a rivalry, because I feel like that could be a hype ass match that doesn't include the title, Charlotte and Bailey.
That would be nice.
So
that would be a good match. Yeah, that'd be a really good match.
I don't know. Next match on the card. I feel like they were trying really, really hard with this one. Baron Corbin versus Rhyno.
I don't honestly. I'm gonna tell you ahead of time. I don't really have much to say about this match. I didn't really even. I mean, it was kind of boring to me, to be 100% honest.
It was a squash match where it's the whole reason that Rhyno was there was to put over Baron Corbin. That's all it was. It was a popular name that's there to lose and push a younger star. That's all it is. They do it all the time in WWE. And it kind of sucks because I like Rhyno, and I feel like Rhyno was never really, like, I don't want to say never really, like, given a chance or never pushed properly, because he's held titles in the past and whatnot, but it just makes me sad to see that that's all he's here and that's all he's being used for anymore.
He's not a memorable name outside of just, like, Rhyno as being, like, OG. He doesn't, like, you know, I mean, obviously you know who Rhyno is, but he's just not like, oh shit, it's Rhyno, like, you know, he's not like on the
like I wouldn't mind them. And this was an idea. This is an idea that I had. I was tweeting about it. I had like a 20 tweet stream about this a couple days ago, where I was saying that they should push these unstoppable forces, I think that's the term they were using, in the WWE, they should push them as they are. And they were doing this a little while back with Mark Henry and Big Show. But like going back to the main roster, if they were to take Big Show, like this is all just hypothetical. I'm sure some of you guys aren't gonna agree with this because Big Show's kind of sort of over the hill. He's had his chance to be pushed, but just roll with the idea for now. What if they were to take someone like Big Show and just push him for like a year straight? Make it the year of Big Show, like how they had the year of Cena a couple years back. They just push him, and nothing can stop Big Show because he's the world's largest athlete. Because with the idea of world's largest athlete, nothing should be able to stop you.
He should not be the first one out in elimination.
Exactly. He shouldn't be the first person pinned. He shouldn't lose half his matches. And the authority and all these other people, like Vince McMahon back when they were in the DX days, when DX came back in 2006, they tried to push Big Show as this muscle for the McMahons and whatnot. And again, Big Show ends up losing. What if they just pushed Big Show and they turned him into this huge, unstoppable force? And then all of a sudden, someone comes along or whoever comes along and finally stops the Big Show. Kind of like how Big Show did to Brock Lesnar. That's going to be a huge push for whoever they decided to have Big Show lose to. I feel like that's how they should run Rhyno in NXT.
And I mean, and then on top of that, just having Big Show just go like unstoppable, undefeated, like that would be hype. I'm sorry, that would be amazing.
Exactly.
Just to have him just like literally just run through everyone.
Like that's why I said like compare it to Rhyno in NXT. You see Rhyno for 5 minutes in an episode. You see him there. He runs over this newcomer. Oh, and he says, "I'm the unstoppable force." Oh, who's this new guy? Yada yada. Next week, Baron Corbin does the same thing. Then they wrestle the pay-per-view. That's just a weak ass storyline. Build Rhyno up. If you really want to put Baron Corbin over as this unstoppable force, build Rhyno up. Make him an actual unstoppable force where he just gores everything in his path the way everyone wants him to. And like even if looking past Baron Corbin, could you imagine Rhyno versus Kevin Owens?
Yo, oh my god.
That would be hype as fuck.
Ooh, that would be crazy.
That would be hype as fuck. Rhyno hits the gore. Kevin Owens hits a pop-up powerbomb. That would be a sick-ass fucking rivalry.
That would be great.
That would be great. But it was the squash match between them two. It was just a chance to put Baron Corbin over. And honestly, I can't really see the rivalry going much further than this. Maybe if Rhyno wants, like, revenge or something, maybe they can go after that. To me, it just looked like a squash match to go ahead and fill a time slot and put a younger star over, which is not uncommon these days. Which, honestly, it needs to be done. And they're doing it on the main roster. They're trying to do it in NXT as well with Rhyno. And I just hope that a certain somebody that we're going to speak about a little later on doesn't end up being the same way. But moving on,
I almost spoiled it for like a half a second.
I know. Moving on, our next match on the card was the NXT Tag Team Championship match, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I think the NXT Tag Team division is like non-existent, which it pretty much is.
Oh goodness.
Like this rivalry was kind of sort of run the same way as the Baron Corbin Rhyno rivalry, and that's kind of sad in the sense that Baron Corbin Rhyno had no championship involved. Whereas this one is the Tag Team Championship. I mean, the niggas is named Blake and Murphy. That's their name. It's Blake and Murphy. I mean, Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch at least had last names. These niggas are just Blake and Murphy. When I look at them, that's how I see them. I see them as Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch. And I'm just like, you're only here as like a placeholder to help hype something up. Because eventually, whenever Enzo and Big Cass end up taking the titles, that's just going to be huge. And I didn't realize, I've seen them a couple times, but when they came out tonight on Unstoppable, the crowd was going insane for Enzo and Big Cass.
They knew literally, I didn't even know. Like, I was like, okay, when is this gonna end? Like, I saw him at first, and I'm like, all right, this is kind of whack. And then I was like, yo, like, it literally, the crowd at the show made me get into. I was like, okay, I can kind of feel this. I'm not even gonna lie, I like this kind
of. And it honestly surprised me because, like I said, I've seen them wrestle before, and the crowd never reacted that way. Never. Yeah, maybe I just caught an off show or something like that. But tonight the crowd went crazy for Enzo and Big Cass, and honestly, I was hyped to see them win. I was hyped to see them scoop up the titles. Cause like I said, what's his name? Is it Billy? It's Blake. I almost called him Billy and Murphy. Blake and Murphy. I was just like, okay, I'm ready for the titles to get off of them and go to these two people that the audience obviously loves and cheers for. But then they brought up the whole divas involved with Alexa Bliss,
Yeah,
and Carmella, and I'm just like, really? That's what's gonna end up messing this up because Alexa Bliss comes out here. Like, so what is this gonna turn into? Like stable versus stable? They're gonna have a mixed tag match now at the next pay-per-view event. You know, are the tag titles gonna stay on Blake and Murphy for the next 2 months until finally Enzo and Cass can? Which I mean, I wouldn't mind because that's just gonna build hype when they actually scoop it up.
And see that this goes back to the whole thing where it's like I was talking about how much I honestly dislike divas in WWE. It's just because literally that's like all they're used for is to break up matches, to save a belt, or just for a placeholder. Like literally, like you said, like a bathroom break. Like I just don't like the way they do it. Like I'd much rather see full on. Like you didn't need to bring Carmella and Alexa. What is it, Alexa Bliss or whatever.
I agree. They didn't need to be involved.
Like didn't need to be, like, it was so random. It was so out of nowhere. It was like, is this necessary? Like seriously, come on now, come on.
I don't know. I think they're just gonna keep pushing it, and they're gonna build a rivalry between the two stables. I mean, it's something that's been done in the past before. Of course, all the storylines are recycled one way or another. And I don't know. It'll be nice once Enzo and Big Cass actually finally scoop up the titles. And the one thing that we mentioned when we were watching it is again how hyped the audience was, but for those of you guys watching right now, let us know in the comment section, do you think that whole Enzo and Big Cass act, you know, and you can't teach that, he's 7 feet tall, you can't teach that, yada yada yada.
You can't teach that.
Is that something that you think would go over well on the main roster? Or is that only that good because it's in NXT? It's in that small stage environment.
What do you think?
I mean, we both agreed earlier, and I still feel the same way. I feel like that's something that's only going to work. That's a gimmick that's only going to work in NXT because of how small the tag division is. Not that the Raw main roster tag team division is so much bigger, even though I am hyped for the Elimination Chamber tag match, which I'm interested to see how that's going to go down. But I think the only way that's going to work is if they build them up with so much hype in NXT, which is not non-existent for the tag division, but if they build up so much hype for them that they can carry it over, that there's enough fans who are aware and know who they are. Because, like, for example, when Kevin Owens came out this past week on Raw and he pop-up powerbomb John Cena, the audience was cheering, "Fight Owen, fight Owen, fight." You know, they knew who he was. You need something like that for Enzo and Big Cass when they come over to the main roster, so that that whole "he's 7 feet tall, you can't teach that" gimmick will go over well.
My thing is, I feel like the Enzo and Big Cass is like, it's weird to say, but it's like, it's too cliche at this point. Like, we've seen so many, like, there's so many different, like, superstars or whatever from that were on the main roster, that have been on the main roster, that give this, like, over the top, just obnoxious, like, intro, and they have all their saying. I mean, like it's literally like a mini John Cena. Like, you know, like John Cena, obnoxious. He's obnoxious. Like, he really is. He really, like,
that's honestly
annoying.
The best way to describe it.
Over the last few years, actually basically since he blew up on the scene, John Cena is just obnoxious. And don't get me wrong, you know, his intro's hype is fucking everything, but just everything that he's about, or not everything he's about, just like all the things that he does are just so. It's just annoying. You know what
the biggest issue, the reason why it's obnoxious is because when it comes to John Cena, there's been no character development.
Right.
It's the same thing over and over and over again. You know, like,
that's why I don't think they would work out anything more than just NXT. They would have to have some type of crazy push and some type of crazy like off the wall, like, finisher, or just they would have to, you know, they have to do something like just absolutely crazy. And this man's 7 foot tall, so it's not like he's gonna be jumping off anything. But that's the only thing I would think would carry them through if they went to main roster. Otherwise, it's just obnoxious. Like, no one's gonna show them love for that. Like, they have a small enough crowd now where they can actually get that hype, but carry it over to you know, triple or quadruple the amount of people. People are gonna be like, nah, like,
that's corny. It's
been done before.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's been done before. It's corny. Like, nah,
I compared them earlier in the night to tag teams such as like Jesse and Festus that were around a little while ago. And Jesse and Festus, when they first came out, it was kind of like, I don't know how I really feel about this. I mean, the intro was nice, biscuits and gravy. You know, I liked them at first. And then they kind of sort of grew on me, and it was like, okay, this is kind of cool, you know. They try to push them in the tag title scene, and eventually they just kind of just fell off the radar. And I feel like that's going to be the exact same way Enzo and Big Cass are going to end up being, where they come out and, you know, the crowd's feeling them at first. And like I said, I feel like it's like a 50-50 shot whether or not this whole gimmick that they have ends up working on the main roster. But if it does end up working, I feel like it's going to be one of those things where it's going to slowly but surely fall to the wayside. I mean, like, an even better example, since Jesse and Festus are no longer a thing, look at the Usos on Raw right now. Yeah. Everyone got so hyped and so behind the Usos, and they're still, they go over well with the crowd, but they're really not doing anything.
They don't do anything. That's exactly what happened to Enzo and Big Cass. Soft when they come, if they ever make it to main roster. I don't see it happening. It's fun while, you know, it's fun to watch, you know, in a small setting like that, but you know, just like when the crowd can really get into it, and the crowd, like, you know, just like a little section of one crowd can start, like, literally can change the entire crowd's view. Like, they all start chanting the same thing because, you know, 4 or 5 of these, you know, these dudes are in the audience chanting, and then everybody gets together. But it's like, those same 4 or 5 dudes are not going to change an entire, like, a main event or like a main roster setting or whatever.
I feel like a way that WWE could be surefire to help put them over is that they pair them up with someone that's already established. You know, like kind of like for example,
they did them individually and then brought them back as a tag team.
No. If they're gonna bring them, that's what they're doing with the Ascension. Like for example, the Ascension is on the main roster now. They were big in NXT, but the Ascension, they're not really doing anything. They're just there. Right. And they're normally involved in like pre-show matches and squash matches and shit like that. But if they brought Enzo and Big Cass up and they paired them with, I know I'm going from 0 to 100. Like if let's say they paired them with John Cena, kind of like how the Usos came out and helped John Cena in the I Quit match. Mm-hmm. Or not, that wasn't the I Quit match.
No, that was the
I'm getting Paybacks mixed up.
Oh my, we just watched it. Oh my god.
It was the Bray Wyatt match, Last Man Standing.
Yeah.
From Payback last year. You know, like how the Usos came out and helped John Cena. You know, if they paired Enzo and Big Cass up with somebody like that, and they kind of sort of just got the extra boost in popularity from them, I could see them then going over really, really well. But I don't know. It's I like them. I would just like to see a little bit more push and a little bit more work put into them before anything else is done with them. And that's how we were talking about with the whole Divas interrupting, and you know they're gonna push the rivalry for a couple more months until they finally get the tag titles. Because Blake and Murphy, let's be honest, these niggas don't even have last names. What the hell are they gonna do?
To be honest with you, I'll say one more thing before we move on to the next one. As far as Enzo and Big Cass goes, I feel like that I'm only kind of a fan of them. Like I'm honestly not that big of a fan, but I like their intro. I think what really grew like them just
I like Big Cass's energy in the ring.
I mean his energy is good, but I think my thing is what really was like, okay, you know, I'm kind of digging them, but I don't really know is the crowd. And I say that just because it literally would only be, I wouldn't say it'd only be, but right now it's just the NXT crowd that just gets you into it. It really doesn't matter how much you like or dislike one of the, you know, the character wrestling. It's like if the crowd gets into it, like, damn, you know what, I'm kind of into this, or you're just completely against it, like you're not like, no, I'm waiting for the next guy to come out, like he's gonna be the one I'm cheering for and stuff like that. So it's like the crowd really kind of got me into Enzo and Big Cass, because I was like, what is happening? Like the crowd's going crazy, and I started enjoying it a little bit more. But it's just like, you know, put them on their own, like without the NXT crowd. I just don't see them. I don't see it going anywhere.
It'll be interesting. I'm definitely gonna keep an eye out for them. They definitely piqued my interest because, like I said before, that I've never seen a crowd react like that for them before. So it's piqued my interest. I'll definitely keep an eye out for them. And it sucks they didn't win the tag team championship today. But if they build them up even more, end up slapping those title belts on them, I can see them going far further than the Ascension did. But next match on the card tonight is, honestly, I would consider it a main event in and of itself.
Oh yeah,
because they saved it. Basically, if they didn't already have the regular saved main event, you know, this would be the main event. And the Divas have main evented on NXT before. We have the NXT Women's Championship match between Becky Lynch and the defending champion Sasha Banks. Now, at the last pay-per-view event, Sasha Banks ended up scooping up the W over Charlotte. And
in the Fatal 4-Way.
In the Fatal 4-Way. And it kind of sucks because, like I said, unless I missed it or I'm not remembering it, I didn't see Charlotte get her rematch for the title, which is customary in the WWE or in wrestling period. And it kind of sucks that she didn't get that happen, but I can understand why, because I feel like they're trying to push Becky Lynch And I said this before, and PK kind of sort of disagreed with me. I can see if they push Becky Lynch properly, I can see them turning her kind of sort of into the next Lita. And I know that's again, that's going 0 to 100 real quick, but just like compare how they look, how they present themselves. You know, they're both kind of sort of have that punk rock chick vibe to them and whatnot. You know, they mean business. They go in the ring and they do tough shit the whole time. You know, I could see shit's dope.
Shit's dope.
You know, I could see them. I could see Becky Lynch becoming or being molded into like the next Lita. And honestly, Becky Lynch is one of those people where at first I didn't really care for her, but it's starting to become one of those things where I can't dislike her.
Yeah.
She's not my favorite, but I can't really dislike her because her character, like I said, I love Lita. Lita was great, and I see Lita in her. And in ring, she's great. You know, those suplexes that she does on Sasha Banks, she's a fucking monster in the ring. I love Becky Lynch.
I feel like Becky Lynch is like, her character overall is just so well put together. Like her in ring performance, amazing, hands down amazing. Her character like development and everything outside the ring is also really good. Like, you know nothing Jon Snow type. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of you guys won't even understand that if you haven't watched the show, but I don't know. Like, she really grew on me. I didn't really like her a few weeks ago, but especially after tonight, I was like, man, that was actually a really, really good match. Like, it was kind of hard to pay attention to it, like in the Fatal 4-Way, just because there was so much stuff going on, and half the people were out of the ring just like chilling for like 10 minutes while they were waiting for their cue to get back in the ring. But she kind of grew on me. Like, I'll agree that she kind of grew on me, man. She really did. Like, but for Sasha Banks, so let's talk about her for a sec.
Sasha Banks is great. Like I said earlier in the video, Sasha Banks and Bayley are my two favorite women's wrestlers right now.
Okay, I have to disagree with that. Now don't get me wrong, Sasha Banks is kind of growing on me a little bit, but I just can't stand Sasha Banks. She reminds me, and this is like the very first reason I didn't like her originally, is because, like I said earlier, I hate Divas matches. I highly dislike Divas in general, and I say Divas as like the main roster Divas, just how they're presented, at least nowadays, how they're presented, how like they go about everything. I just
it's
I
that
can't
Barbie
stand
doll look.
Exactly, and that when I saw Sasha Banks, I was like, hell no.
I agree. I think she
has
does
the
have
exact same thing and everything, except she's got like this boss, like, I'm a boss ass bitch type attitude. Whereas like the diva, the superstar divas or whatever, they have like this, oh my god, I'm a Barbie doll. Like, it's just, I just can't stand. I really don't like.
I agree with you,
but I don't like her.
I agree with you. She does have that very Barbie doll-esque look because she's what, like all of 120 pounds soaking wet. You know, I agree. She does have that Barbie doll-esque look to her, but the one difference is that she has that boss ass bitch persona, and she turns around and backs it up in the ring. Because Sasha Banks, she delivers some serious fucking moves in the ring.
Yeah, she's got good moves. That's why I say, like, I don't. She's not like the worst wrestler I've ever seen. Like, I'll never watch her match because, like, every single match I've seen from Sasha Banks has been entertaining. Don't get me wrong, but it's not necessarily 100% entertaining because of Sasha Banks. I don't know. It's just she's got to grow on me a little bit. Actually, a lot. I don't like her persona. I don't know what it is. There's just something about like that Barbie doll bitch attitude. Like,
I like her persona. I like her music. I like the in-ring ability. Sasha Banks is great in my opinion. Again, we mentioned that double-edged sword. If she ends up going up to the main roster, she's already going to fall in line with all the rest of the Barbie doll divas, and that's just going to be what Sasha Banks is.
Unless, which I would be okay with, is if she kept the same persona, the same wrestling style and everything that she has now, went to main roster, and then she changed it. She changed the whole game.
I mean, just look at like before. Everyone said Paige used to be the exact same way, and then they went up to the main roster, and now Paige is bullshit. It's one of those things where I like Sasha Banks a lot. She's my favorite female wrestler alongside Bayley, and I like everything about her getup. And what I really like the most about her, and this only works on certain wrestlers, and I can't really say there's a whole lot of wrestlers wrestling currently that are kind of sort of like that. The first one that comes to mind is Brock Lesnar, followed by Kevin Owens. Who would have thunk it that we would talk about Brock Lesnar in a women's match?
I'm not sure where you're going with this one, but I'm a listen.
She's the heel that everyone loves.
Okay.
Because when I first saw the whole Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks rivalry, I was like, is Sasha Banks the heel? Or is Becky Lynch the heel? I can't really tell. Because, like, Becky Lynch, she went through this whole transformation. She's not losing matches. She's determined, yada, yada, yada. And she kind of sort of, maybe it's just her Irish accent personality that kind of threw me off. But I kind of sort of got the heelish vibe from her. And I thought she was the heel in this because Sasha, she's like boss-ass bitch. And, this is her kingdom. She's going to do what she wants to do to hold her title down. And I kind of got the feeling, especially with the way the crowd reacted, that she was the face. But in turn, ends up Sasha's the heel and Becky's meant to be the face. And you hear the crowd go crazy over Sasha Banks. Like, not even just during the entrance, like when they were wrestling. Like, everyone was chanting for Sasha Banks.
And that's why I say it's not like I hate Sasha Banks. It's just she just got a lot of growing. For me, she's got to grow on me a little bit more. I'm gonna have to see a couple more title matches, title defenses from her before I'm just like, okay, like I can get with this. There's just something about her personality, or the character's personality, and just like the whole persona itself that just really throws me off. I don't know exactly how to explain it or what it is. It's just something about it just throws me off. So. I
like Sasha Banks. I'm glad she's champion. Like I said, Charlotte was growing on me. So of course, when I first saw Charlotte in the free for all, in the Fatal 4-Way with Sasha Banks, I was like, yeah, Sasha won. So I kind of feel bad that Charlotte hasn't gotten her rematch yet. But I'm happy that Sasha Banks is champion. I feel like she's the right one in the Divas division to have the championship.
Yeah, I'd say right now in NXT, she despite everything I said, definitely is the one that should be holding the belt right now above anybody else. Hands down. When
it comes to the match tonight, I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy the match. Everyone on Twitter went insane. They said it's one of the best women's matches they've ever seen. I wasn't a huge fan of Becky Lynch botching the over-the-top rope grab when she went to go grab her for the crossbody, which I guess you could, if you want to get your Michael Cole on, you could say that Sasha Banks was working on her arm the entire match, so she kind of sort of dropped the ball. But like you said earlier, I feel like it was so impromptu because like she caught her and there was that brief moment of like, okay, what do I do now?
Exactly.
And she kind of just like dropped her on the steps.
And she wasn't prepared to think on her feet like that, so. And then she just kind of like, it was like one of the weakest, like, obviously because Sasha wasn't prepared for it. She was just like, she just kind of had to like,
and I feel like they kind of sort of had that. I forgot to mention this earlier. That was the only down point to the Finn Balor match was when he got up on the when he got up on the entrance ramp. I would call it Titantron, but whatever. When he got up on the entrance. Whatever you call, I can't think of the name for it right now.
Ramp, what are they? He was on
the gear that's up there, or on top of the lighting rig or whatever.
There you go.
And like I saw him up there, and I was like, "Holy shit, what's he gonna do?" And then he just jumped, and it was like an elbow or something off the top. And I was just like, that was kind of anticlimactic.
I feel like that was supposed to be like a flying sling blade. Like that would have been amazing.
It's just he would have landed. I feel like that's another thing that I'm kind of sort of interested to see Finn Balor do. I feel like I don't want to say he's afraid. It's just from the few like high risk maneuvers that I've seen him do, he always ends up going for the safer route, which could just be WWE's PG-13 policy being enacted right there. Don't go too crazy with your shit. But I would have liked to have seen something so much more than just an elbow off the fucking lighting rig.
He double foot stomped Tyler Breeze in the back. I'm sorry, that's not really. I mean, but again, I guess that is like he sold that move really well just because it was such a safe move, at least for him.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him going like being one of those like coast to coast sling blade. Like, oh my god, could you imagine that?
No, nigga, coast to coast is Shane McMahon.
No, I'm just saying something like that, like something with that type of aerial range, like an aerial coast to coast sling blade.
I feel like he could do it. He could do it because he has the vertical leap, like we were talking about earlier. But
for sure.
Anyways, back to the women's championship match. I'm happy that Sasha Banks ended up getting the W. Like I said, Becky Lynch, she needs to grow on me a little bit more. And I felt like with her being the face and Sasha being the heel and Sasha still retaining, I feel like there's really not much else for Becky Lynch to do. I feel like they have to squash that rivalry. And I feel like Becky Lynch crying in the ring and, getting that applause and then playing her music and everything, having that respectable exit from the ring and whatnot. I feel like that was their way to kind of sort of save face for Becky Lynch so that she just doesn't completely just get squashed underneath Sasha Banks.
I feel like they are going to put Becky Lynch either up against Charlotte or Becky Lynch up against Bayley. And that's gonna be, and honestly, I feel like it would be Becky Lynch and Bayley together as a tag team before it was them against each other.
No. I think if they want Becky Lynch, if they want Becky Lynch to go over well, I feel like the best thing for her is to go heel, turn her into a heel, turn her into this Irish badass. She's like a female Sheamus, you know. That might be a little stereotypical or whatever, but turn her into that and have her go against the faces in NXT like Bayley and like Charlotte, you know. Turn her into that because she's a heel I actually want to watch wrestle, unlike Dana and Emma.
Right.
You know, I have no interest in watching them, but I could see Becky Lynch going to the ring, putting in work, putting some hurt on some faces in the women's division, and actually I could see her then being champion. You know, she's like that dominant heel champion.
Right.
I don't know. I can see that.
I can see that too. That would make sense too. I just feel like just based off of like how they portray her now as the face, you know, I feel like it would be something where it would have to be like I just feel like she would go. Honestly, I feel like her and Bayley would work well together. And if they kept her face, they would work perfect together.
In reference to main roster spots, you know, because we spoke about Sasha Banks going main roster. If they did take Becky Lynch and put her on the roster, on the main roster, I feel like that's the perfect thing that the women's division needs right now, or the Divas division needs, is because who's the only real heel in Divas division right now? The Naomi and Tamina, like they're the big bad heels. Honestly, number one, Naomi is not that much of a heel, nigga. You have light up sneakers on when you come to the ring.
Basically, I was
like,
gonna say,
what am I supposed to like? Am I supposed to believe you're the big bad heel of the women's division? With light up sneakers on?
Like she's about as intimidating as Jay, to be honest. I'm just being honest.
I would like, and PK agrees with me on this one as well. I would like it if they would push Tamina more. Stop making Tamina this fucking manager for other divas. Put her in the ring. She is obviously this big girl. She's muscle. She can do work. You know, it's the whole Big Show Rhyno thing we spoke about earlier. Make her a fucking dominant heel. But if they're not going to do that, I could honestly see them doing that with Becky Lynch. Bring her up to the main roster. Make her that heel in the Divas division. Put her up against Paige. Put her up against. Well, I don't like the Bellas at all. I don't like the Bellas. And before anybody flips out, I don't care for the Bellas because I saw them debut and I saw them as like the arm candy they were for the longest time. You know, and now for me to actually sit and watch them wrestle, I'm like, I'm supposed to take this serious? What? The Bella Twins? Come on.
I feel like how you're talking about Tamina. Like I feel like they're looking for somebody right now to bring up as that same type of brute force in like for the women. You know what I mean? Like, cause like you put her in the ring, she would body everyone in the Divas right now on main roster, right? You put Becky Lynch up there. Becky Lynch looks like Becky Lynch. The way she wrestles, she just looks like she's ready to hurt somebody and that she can take a beating, like legit. And I feel like all the Barbie doll divas they have right now, it would just be like either she would like everybody would just absolutely love her for running through everyone, or she would be hated for being so different because she'd be the only one that was so different like that. And I don't see Becky Lynch being dressed up as like a Barbie doll. You know, like you can't like no, like she's way too like you could just look at her eyes like she's way too like angry or something like that to be dressed up like a diva or whatever. So I feel like maybe they're just looking for. Like maybe they're setting up for like that Becky Lynch push.
They want to push her some more and see how she goes over before they actually bring her to the main scene, so, which makes sense.
Because I can definitely see her. I could see her going main roster. I mean, and then like for Sasha Banks as well. I feel like Sasha Banks and like AJ Lee, like versus like that. I feel like that would be.
That's not AJ Lee's gone.
Is she gone? How long has she been out?
Like a year now.
Really? Well, never mind. Take that back. Because I was just sitting here like, I feel like Sasha Banks versus AJ Lee would be an entertaining match. That's all I'm saying. But never mind. So forget that.
No.
So, I don't know.
I don't know. Either way, the Women's Championship match, like I said, if they didn't already have the regular main event, I definitely think that would have served as a pretty impressive main event. A lot of people definitely enjoyed the match, and I did too. And like we mentioned earlier with the Divas tag match, it was great. It's great. It's refreshing to see women's wrestling matches that I'm actually interested in watching. Yep. It's so refreshing to see that. It's another reason I love NXT over the main shows. But it is what it is. It was a great match. I'm happy that Sasha ended up retaining. Only downside, really, other than the crossbody, was the fact that half the match was Sasha just putting Becky Lynch in submission holds, which I don't know. Most
look,
of the great matches
she
end up
did
being
some
that
crazy,
way.
like she did some stuff that looked painful to Becky. When she put her arm behind her and then
Stepped
put
on
it
it.
under her foot and stepped on it and then like popped it up. I was like, oh, and then she did that what is it, that the arm behind the back suplex, and then like the crowd was going, Suplex City, like they were going crazy, and that was impressive. Like I don't know, man. I keep saying Sasha Grey. Sasha Banks, I don't know where that came from. She just puts in work. She puts in work. I'm not gonna lie, but she still got some time. She's got some room to grow for me. So I don't know.
Alright, moving on to the last match on the card. The main event being Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship, with Kevin Owens defending. I can honestly say this match ended up going the exact way I thought it was going to go. The last time these two were in the ring, Kevin Owens powerbombed Sami Zayn
Over
five
and over
times.
and over
Five
and over
times.
and over. Oh my God.
Kevin Owens is straight up savage. He is what I want to see in the WWE right now.
Yes,
just like how I mentioned,
please.
Earlier with Sasha Banks being the heel that everyone cheers for. That's what Kevin Owens is, because when you watch Kevin Owens in the ring and you see his personality, you just can't help but feel like a badass with him.
Exactly.
You know, like the hilarious the hilarious part before his match, when the announcer came up to him and said, I really didn't want to ask you about this, and he stopped and he said, but you did anyway. I was just like, oh,
I didn't want to bother you,
you just wrecked the fucking announcer like that, dude.
You
Come
came
on.
and did it anyway. Like that was funny. But like I'm saying, I feel like main roster Kevin Owens gonna happen. It has to happen. It must happen.
It's already gonna happen. It's already gonna happen. When he went on Raw against John Cena, everybody got to see, because like we said before, everyone in the crowd was already cheering "Fight Owens, fight! Fight Owens, fight!" And that was against John Cena, top dog. They were cheering for him over John Cena.
Yep. And see, and the thing is, I feel like Kevin Owens would do so well on his own, because it's like, you take for example, like he's got like that brute force, and like he wrestles, like he just goes in like a Brock Lesnar, right? But he's so good on the mic, like he doesn't need a hand.
Exactly. That was another thing I was gonna say. That was another thing I was gonna say. When he went in the ring against Cena, and Cena's one of the best on the mic over the past decade, easily, hands down, one of the best. He almost never messes up. Everything is perfect, crystal clear. Kevin Owens went in there toe to toe with him on the mic, and it was a flawless, fluid encounter between the two of them. Kevin Owens is a heel who can wrestle in ring. That pop-up powerbomb gets you hyped every time you see it.
Especially when you see it 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
So.
and he's good on the mic. He's hilarious. He's hilariously evil. That's the best way to describe it. He's a perfect heel, and I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, he already has the match against John Cena at Elimination Chamber, which I'm beyond hyped to see. I would love to see them two actually go at it.
Wait, man.
I feel like what I would like to see happen in that match is I really want them to put Kevin Owens over, because if you put Kevin Owens over, say that 10 times fast. If you put Kevin Owens over on John Cena, that's not gonna ruin John Cena.
Oh no!
With the whole Rhyno situation, that's not gonna ruin him.
Especially not with the tear that Kevin Owens has been on lately. Like that, I don't think that would ruin.
Put him up there in WWE, and put him up there in WWE. Put him up there on Raw. Kevin Owens can be a new, fresh heel on the roster that it so desperately needs. So desperately needs. Kevin Owens would be a fucking monster, fucking badass. And I think it's only inevitable. Eventually, it's going to be Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, yes.
And honestly, as much as I like to see that, I think Kevin Owens needs a bit more work before you put him in that match.
He would still get bodied by Brock Lesnar.
Exactly. That's what I said. You need a little bit more work before I can see him actually picking up a W over Brock Lesnar, because they have very similar in-ring styles. They hit hard, then they back up and they pace for a couple seconds, and they hit hard again, they back up and pace for a couple seconds. That's how they both operate. I would love to see it happen. In reference to the match tonight, like I said, it went the exact way I thought it was going to go over. Kevin Owens gets in the ring, and actually, I take it back. They had some really good spots. The two of them had some really good spots. When they went outside the ring and he did that, he went to go do the powerbomb, and Sami Zayn caught the guardrail instead. That was hype. They did well.
I was like, no, he's not about to. Oh, okay, I see. I'm like, there's no way they're gonna let Kevin Owens powerbomb the shit out of Sami Zayn on the hard floor in the middle of the crowd. I mean, if they had let that go through,
ECW, ECW,
like straight up,
ECW,
Like, if it
ECW.
wasn't so PG, like, I'm sorry, Sami Zayn would have been laid the fuck out right there in the crowd, and Kevin Owens would be like, "Fuck this, I'm walking out." Like,
And no, Kevin Owens would have kept stomping on his head after that, because Kevin Owens doesn't give a damn.
That's true.
That was the one thing I like about Kevin Owens. And obviously, they're gonna push the storyline with Cena even more because he came out with the United States Champions here shirt and yada yada yada, all that shit, which I'm hyped to see. But the one thing I really liked about the match tonight is it went the way that I expected it to go. Like I said twice already, I know I'm repeating myself, but what I did like is how they gave Sami Zayn a little bit more of a chance. Like, he actually had a little bit more offense this time around than he did last time. Because last time the match went for like 5 minutes and then Sami Zayn just got bodied
over and
over again. Powerbomb City, more like it. Took a trip from Suplex City to Powerbomb City that night. But I like how Sami Zayn actually had a little more offense tonight. It was interesting. He hit the what's his finisher? The blue.
Oh, the Blue Thunder.
Blue Thunder. I want to say Blue Bomber. It was the blue.
Was it Blue Thunder? I feel like there's another word.
I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
Blue Thunder, I think. I don't know.
Sami Zayn, it was great to see him actually have some offense against him. But then, as usual, Kevin Owens picked him up, powerbombed on the side of the apron, and all of a sudden, Sami Zayn's out on the floor. He can't compete. And Kevin Owens just savage. He didn't give a fuck. All his refs were around him. He kept walking up, kicking him in the head, doing all this crazy shit. it was so entertaining. That's why I love Kevin Owens so much, because he is just that savage. WWE mean. Imagine if Kevin Owens was signed in WWE 10 years ago, back when it wasn't PG-13.
He would have given Brock Lesnar a run for his money, hands down. He would have.
I would have loved to have seen Kevin Owens in like a street fight match, or in a last man standing, where you can actually bust people open. You can go crazy. Kevin Owens versus Mick Foley. I mean, Mick Foley's a little bit old. He's a little too old for that.
Maybe
but still,
10 years ago.
That's like a dream match. I would have loved to have seen Kevin Owens versus Mick Foley, because Mick Foley's that dude. Like, Kevin Owens is a savage. He'll go in. Mick Foley's that guy that'll just take all the hits.
And take him
like
legit.
That would have been crazy.
Like, take him legit, like, to the face. That would be crazy. Yep, I agree. But
so when it comes to the match, I like how Sami Zayn had a little more momentum, and then of course Kevin Owens had the crushing moment where he just destroyed him, and I was just waiting for him to stop the match again, because I'm sitting there like, okay, come on, stop the match. This is stupid. Obviously, Sami Zayn's not going to do anything. It's the exact same repeat as before. And he went to grab the title, and he got the chair as well, and I'm like, oh, okay, we about to go in. Let's go. And then all of a sudden,
I was so ready for him to just start pounding the shit out of Sami Zayn with that chair. But
and then all of a sudden, the highlight of the night happened. And it's been rumored for months now, and it finally happened tonight at Unstoppable. Samoa Joe is finally signed to WWE.
Hype. I'm excited.
Which is really hype, because when you think about it, over the past decade, well, I'd say a little longer than decade, maybe like 15 years or so, Samoa Joe has been the John Cena of TNA. So for them to scoop up Samoa Joe, put him down here in NXT, which kind of sort of sucks. I'd like to see him on the main roster. I feel like he's already got, he's already established.
He's already a name everyone knows.
Yeah, I think that's a little punkish of WWE to put him in NXT. Which I guess is just a way for them to give him hype, because honestly, I feel like Samoa Joe, he has to move up to the main roster within the next year. There's no way they're going to leave him in NXT for longer than a year. But I do like Samoa Joe. He came in. Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens has to happen at the next pay-per-view. Absolutely has to happen.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like it's not going to be the next pay-per-view.
No. I feel like it is, because with the way they're gonna do it, they have to turn the title over before Kevin Owens goes to the main roster, and it's like that. They're in that transition period where they're working that rivalry with John Cena, and they're gonna make it happen. Because I feel like their match in Elimination Chamber is not gonna be the only time they wrestle. It's not going to be. They're gonna work that angle so that Kevin Owens can go over to Raw, and Kevin Owens, if there is anybody in NXT now who could stop him and take the title from him, it would be Samoa Joe.
Oh yeah, well, hands down, yeah. I mean,
it would be Samoa Joe.
Who do you see at all that would even have a shot at Kevin Owens?
Rhyno.
I don't think Rhyno would have a shot at Kevin Owens.
If they were to bill Rhyno properly, I could see Rhyno versus Kevin Owens being huge. Maybe that's just me remembering Rhyno from the glory days.
I think it would be a good match, but at the end of the day, I just feel like Kevin Owens would take that, honestly. I just feel like Kevin Owens would take that. I feel like Samoa Joe simply because of like Samoa Joe is a more of a name than Rhyno in my opinion, right? And I feel like Samoa Joe is the only person that would be able to take down Kevin Owens, especially after all the hype that he's got, after the crazy just win streak, just destruction path that he's paved for himself. You know what I'm saying? Rhyno would not be a big enough person to take down Kevin Owens. I don't see that happening.
I'm hyped. I think the way they're going to do it is they're going to run it as Samoa Joe taking the title from Kevin Owens, and Samoa Joe
to the main roster.
And Kevin Owens would then move on to the main roster because it's time. He's honestly the most popular wrestler aside from Finn Balor and maybe Sami Zayn as well. In NXT right now, it's time for him to move up, send him up to the main roster, give the main roster that true heel that it needs. And I don't know about you guys, I'm tired of Seth Rollins and Randy Orton being the same heel over and over and over again. It's done. The Authority storyline has run its course. Please be done with that. Send Kevin Owens up and make it happen. Please make it happen.
Shake up the game. Bring the house down by Kevin Owens.
And have Samoa Joe as that new face champion, because Samoa Joe is just the shit. Everyone loves him. Now the question is, how would they turn NXT after that? You know, who's going to go up against Samoa Joe then? Is Samoa Joe gonna be like Adrian Neville, where he holds the title for a year?
Right. I feel like at that point, I mean, I'm trying to think of like some other wrestlers that aren't around right now that should come back. And I mean, I'm sure.
I don't think. No, when it comes to the notion of that, it's gonna have to be somebody new. I could see it happening. Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor. But I feel like that would only end up bearing Finn Balor because Samoa Joe is such an established name already that it's they're clearly just bringing him into NXT to help hype NXT, and then like I said, I can't see Samoa Joe being in NXT for any longer than a year.
I'm sitting here, I'm honestly trying to think. I really don't see. I mean, unless they went Rhyno versus Samoa Joe,
which has happened before because Rhyno was in TNA for a long time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, unless they went Rhyno versus Samoa Joe, I think that would probably be the hypest that they could get without anybody being really hurt in the process. That like their reputation,
maybe if they pushed Baron Corbin enough, I could maybe see him giving a Samoa Joe run for his money. But see, the thing is, Samoa Joe's a big dude, but he's incredibly agile on his feet. Baron Corbin is a big dude who's slow in the ring.
Yeah.
So I feel like Samoa Joe would just end up winning that one over and over again, because I feel like that would just look awkward to see Samoa Joe just take a big boot and all of a sudden, oh, Joe's down and out. What is he going to do now? Baron Corbin's new NXT champion. Like, no, it's not happening. So it'll be interesting to see where the title picture and the title scene goes from here on out with Samoa Joe being a presence in NXT. I'm incredibly hyped. I'm incredibly happy and excited to see where it goes now that Samoa Joe is a part of NXT. That is awesome. That is amazing. WWE needs to get their head out of their ass and bring Kurt Angle back. Stop turning that nigga down. Bring him back. Bring him back. Bring him back. But that's just the fanboy in me speaking. I know he's old and prone to injury, and WWE isn't known for that.
Now, let me just speak on it. What if Kurt Angle came to NXT versus Samoa Joe?
No. See, the thing is, Rhyno is in NXT. He's had a brief history with WWE in the past, but he never really did a whole lot in WWE. So I can understand him being there. Kurt Angle was like the poster child, one of the biggest names in the 2000s for WWE. There's no way they're gonna bring Kurt Angle and drop him in NXT. That would just be insult to injury.
I mean, I'm just saying. All I have to say is that if we saw Kurt Angle come in NXT and 3 weeks later run through everyone and then get put back on the main roster.
They already did that. They already did that because Samoa Joe was undefeated in TNA until Kurt Angle showed up. And Kurt Angle was the one that gave him his first loss.
Okay,
so they already did that. If no one else pops up in the title scene, all hypothetical, of course, if they end up slapping the title on Joe, which I think is more than likely going to happen. But I feel like it's going to be one of those storylines where they're going to end up either stripping the title from him, or they're going to have to find some way to get the title off him and move him up to the main roster, because I feel like it's just inevitable.
Or a Diva's Samoa Joe
he's got too much of a career behind him, and even though WWE likes to do things their way, you can't just blatantly ignore 20 years, the past 20 years that he's developed over in TNA and whatnot, just to push him in NXT. So I don't know. When it comes to title match tonight, obviously I'm a Kevin Owens fanboy. I'm happy that he won over Sami Zayn and he's still champion. And it's just period. Kevin Owens versus Samoa Joe will be much more entertaining than Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe, because Sami Zayn gets bodied by Kevin Owens. You know Samoa Joe's just gonna put him in his place as well. So it was pretty good. I enjoyed the main event. Like I said, it went the way I thought it was gonna go, and I'm happy Kevin Owens retained. I'm excited to see where NXT is gonna go from here on out. Overall, as a pay-per-view, I would give it like a 4 out of 5. You know, it was pretty decent. I would say it was pretty decent. Only matches I didn't really care for would be like the Baron Corbin Rhyno squash match and like the NXT Tag Champion match.
I wasn't, to be honest with you, one of those match I wasn't really a fan of. As much as I love Bayley, I didn't really like them. Like, I mean, it was a good match, but I don't like the fact that it was versus Dana Brooke and Emmy.
That's what I was gonna say. I didn't want to let them spoil the match for me, because I like Charlotte and I like Bayley, and they did what they came here to do. They were entertaining. I enjoyed seeing them wrestle, and I wasn't gonna really let them ruin it for me. So I'm still gonna settle on a 4 out of 5, because I love the Finn Balor. He picked the W. I love that match. Women's tag match was pretty good. Baron Corbin Rhyno, I wasn't really all too hyped about. NXT tag match, like I said, I wasn't really hyped about it. I really did not like the way it ended, but still, I'm optimistic about Enzo and Big Cass because of how hyped the audience was. NXT Women's Championship match, of course, was amazing. NXT main event for the NXT Championship was amazing as well. So I would give it a 4 out of 5 based off of all that.
I'd say, for me, I'd probably say I'm gonna have to stay kind of neutral here. I think I'll give it a 3 out of 5, just for the simple fact that, of course, Finn Balor is gonna get a point regardless of whether he won or lost or it was a bad match. I just love his intro, so he gets a point for that one. I like the fact that Bayley and Charlotte did their thing. It just kind of made it was like a bittersweet victory just because it was Dana Brooke and Emma, and I was just like, Baron Corbin and Rhyno. It was kind of a boring match, my personal opinion. Didn't really do much for me. The tag team match, Enzo, like you said, Enzo and what is it?
Big Cass.
Big Cass, yeah. Enzo and Big Cass. I feel like they have some weird type of potential for me. So I'll give them that. Of course, the NXT Women's was amazing. That was a great match, and the championship match, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, with the reveal of Samoa Joe in NXT finally. I have to say 3.5 out of 5, hands down.
Especially with William Regal interfering as well.
Oh, yeah. Yo, Kevin Owens headbutted William Regal. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, Kevin Owens does not give a fuck, man. I love it. It was
After
really
kicking
great. Sami Zayn in the head like 10 times with like 5 refs around him. Then William Regal gets in the ring. He just like, he's like, get off me. Headbutts him, grabs the chair. Actually, he grabs the chair. William Regal grabs him, he headbutts him, and then it's just like, oh my god! I was like, what is gonna happen next?
It was great. It'll be interesting to see. I can definitely see with William Regal being involved. I'm surprised we didn't mention this till now. With William Regal being involved, I can see William Regal being upset at Kevin Owens. You're gonna be in a title match against Samoa Joe. Yada 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 yada. Other downside I didn't like about it. Can we please get the copyright rights to Samoa Joe's old entrance?
Oh my, yes.
Give him something new, because this entrance music he got right now is not gonna work. That's not gonna fly.
I will say when it first hit, I was
because it's similar to Samoa Joe's original music from TNA.
And then it just went all downhill.
It was like some Scotty 2 Hottie 1999 hip hop shit. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was terrible intro music, absolutely horrid intro music. But it is what it is, I guess. So I feel like they're gonna try to rock out with that, unfortunately, but.
Either way, let us know what you guys think about each match on the card from Unstoppable tonight. Again, we're gonna try and do this series here on the second channel for all the WWE pay-per-views and whatnot. So like I said, share your thoughts and your opinions on the matches and how they went over, and what your predictions are for each of the wrestlers and the storylines throughout NXT from here on out. Of course, if you enjoyed and you're hyped for more reviews of pay-per-views, definitely make sure you smash that like button down below for us, and check out Twitch channel and Twitter, which are both linked in the description below, because like we said, we live tweet when we're watching and whatnot. We love to get you guys involved in the conversation too.
Ham.
Yeah, we do. We
go ham, yo.
But with that, first review is down. First NXT pay-per-view is down as well, so I'm hyped, I'm happy, I'm optimistic for what's to come from here on out, and I guess we'll see you guys in a little over a week for Elimination Chamber pay-per-view review, which I'm hyped for because, like we said, we got the tag team elimination, first ever tag team elimination chamber. How are they
gonna be so?
I want to see that. I want to see how they're gonna do it. They have
wait.
the Intercontinental, the vacant Intercontinental IC elimination chamber match. Kevin Owens versus John Cena as well.
That's gonna be a crazy ass match.
I want them to have a WWE World Title elimination chamber as well, and that'll be your 3 elimination chamber matches. But I feel like it's probably not gonna happen. I feel like they're gonna do something stupid. And because I mean, like they said, like Dean Ambrose,
get involved.
Yeah, like Dean Ambrose has he's got his title shot. Which honestly, I'm not a fan of Dean Ambrose. Don't hate me for it. Everyone has their own opinions. I'm not a huge fan of him, and honestly, I don't get the whole idea behind Dean Ambrose. I mean, we're starting to talk about Raw now, but I don't like the whole idea of Dean Ambrose losing in the Fatal 4-Way and then turn around the next night on Raw demanding a title match. Like, nigga, you just lost. Back of the line. I don't even know why you were in the match to begin with. You had nothing to do with it. Just get out of here. But
yeah, that's a whole other topic for a whole other video. In itself, like.
We'll talk about that more with the Elimination Chamber review. So either way, like I said, you guys, if you enjoyed, and of course if you're a prime member of the Nappy Nation, make sure you smash the like button down below, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye bye.